Hello. Welcome back to Drama Free Gaming. It is what it says, and it says what it is. I am your host, End Time, and we're back for another show. So far, we're going to be flying solo this evening, but if you catch this on the replay, make sure you check us out on anchor.fm/DFG podcast, and also on Pocket Cast, Chromecast, Apple Podcasts, and many other places where you might listen to this as a audio version, as a podcast. But we're here right now on youtube.com/drama free gaming. And I want to just thank the people who have tuned in to the YouTube channel and have actually found our content here in the last month or so, and have actually subscribed. You guys are getting us even so closer, I believe, to 400 subscribes. And I see that Henyo just jumped in, so I'm going to click over to his audio to make sure that we can properly introduce him. Give me 1 second. And there we go. Henyo, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All
Sorry,
right.
I'm late, and I'm
Nah.
starting to feel like the bad boy of the.
Nah, you're not late. I was just doing the intro, opening it up here, trying to stay on point, stay on time. We got a lot to talk about this evening, but how have you been, man?
I'm all right. Working hard, playing hard, chilling hard.
I hear you,
good.
bro. Going hard, staying hard.
Yeah, balling.
That's a good. That's a good.
How you doing?
Thing.
How are you?
Good, man. I'm excited tonight to actually. I don't know. I'm feeling the mojo coming back. You know, like really wanting
Me
to get
too.
behind this mic and just share an hour or so of just hanging out, having conversation, and I was really looking forward to this. So I'm glad you was able to show up. For you guys who are wondering where Dark Dad is at tonight, he is under the weather. He's been under the weather for about a week now, and I just got off the phone with him. He's been having some fever and fighting that off, and he feels good sometimes, and then he's knocked back down and then back up and back down. So he said he's going to be in the chat here maybe if he's not already medicated and passed out, but best wishes to him. Keep him in prayer if you're a praying person, and yeah.
Oh, cool. So I could slide down on the couch here.
You can stretch out fully, because even though I saw Sleek in the Discord a moment ago, I'm not sure if he's gonna actually jump in or not, but he seemed to give an indication that he was going to maybe slip in here like he did the last time during the towards the end of the podcast. So we'll see about that. But Henyo, let's talk gaming, man. What's been, that game that has had you clenching onto that controller? What you've been playing, man?
Well, I've been actually I started up BioShock, the remastered edition from Steam.
Okay.
So I kind of went in on that one, and I've actually been enjoying it. You know, just I know you guys when you guys speak retro gaming, you know, you guys go 8-bit and 16-bit, but you know, some of these first gen like console games like BioShock and stuff like that, I really enjoyed. So you know, I like to revisit them and play them. Been playing SnowRunner.
Okay.
That's been a staple there. I don't know what it is about that game. It's just it's slow, it's methodical, but it's I don't know, it's tedious, I guess.
Is
So
SnowRunner? Explain to me SnowRunner because I know what Bioshock is, and I gave it a try, and an amazing game. I mean that introduction, that intro on Bioshock is just iconic. You know, I can't get it out of my mind. I didn't play through the game, through the trilogies or anything of that sort, but really did enjoy that game for a bit.
yeah,
But
this one's the remastered, so the graphics have been updated on it, which you
cool.
know it kind of brings it up to date. Really cool. I really enjoying it. Yeah,
Nice,
so
nice. And this SnowRunner, what is this about?
the original game is from Mud Runner, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
And it's originally I think a console game or a PC game, one or the other. But it was you know it was kind of a you know, I kind of seen people stream it and, you know, thought, man, that's pretty cool to drive around a truck and you know, you got to open up the land and discover, you know, tasks to complete, so to
Gotcha.
speak. And the only thing stopping you from, you know, completing these tasks is the mud, the snow, the hills, the icy
Gotcha.
conditions. So, you know, it's a pretty barren world. So there's not real much interaction. It's just you driving around and trying to get past you know, coordinating, you know, with other trucks to kind of get the job complete. So, you know, it's slow fun. You
Yeah.
know, it's not very fast paced. It's very just methodical and just, you know, you don't kind of get stuck at a board. You just kind of, you know, go through it. You swim through it, so to speak,
Yeah.
and get past it. It's pretty
There,
clean fun, clean fun.
yeah, nothing wrong with that. It kind of reminds me of when I got kind of hooked for like a week or two on Train Simulator, and just started playing
Exactly.
that, and it was just I can't believe how enthralling it was to learn how to like press the right buttons to open the doors on the proper side of the train when you was in the station, and keeping the time, and how to, you know, get the train to move and all that other stuff. It was just, you know, methodical, like you said,
Yeah, right,
which is kind of like mind numbing, hypnotizing, and soothing at the same time, right? It's just
exactly. Yeah, exactly that. Sometimes you
yeah.
just need to wipe, you know, and
Yeah.
that'll take you there.
It
It's
definitely
very
is like a palate cleanser. I was gonna say it's more for like us geriatric guys, you know, just getting to that age where we just want to count pennies, you know, fill up the bank rolls, right, and then just dump them back out and do it all over again. It's just one of those
you
things.
know, when you're stuck in the mud going like half a mile an hour,
Oh
it's
man,
just like it's slow. It gets really slow, and it's like, oh my god. But
yeah,
the boards are small and you know completable. So
yeah,
that
that's
and
cool.
MLB the show. You know the show I'm doing Conquest. I'm just like you know exploring the whole MLB the show. You know events and stuff like that.
How
So
has it been progressing? Because you're playing on PlayStation 5, correct?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And how has it been, you know, progressing with, you know, the patches
Yeah.
and the content that's coming in? How's it been?
Yeah, the stability number one, you know, on release, you know, there was a lot of network outage and stuff like that. So now, you know, that's been held in check. They've done the you know whatever necessary you know bandwidth opening they needed to do, or
Mm,
added more servers, you know, to the load balancers. Whatever they did, they you know they got it working right.
nice.
They'll do a maintenance, which is you know expected as of any game, especially nowadays. And you know, it's just a plethora of content right now. So you know, just when you think you have the best player on the team, you know, there's another one that they pull out. You know, just with the All Star game, you know, more players that you know with better attributes. So you'll have like three different versions of you know Manny Machado or Aaron Judge, you know, of those players at different levels in their careers, right? The same could be done with the older players, right? You have the rookie Reggie Jackson, you have a all-star Reggie Jackson, and then you have a veteran Reggie Jackson, and all three of them are, you know, they're the same player but with different attributes that kind of, you know, are tweaked a bit. One's more seasoned, while the other one's a lot faster. So, you know, they're just, you know, with the All-Star game done now, I mean, they're just pushing out content and events. So
It
it's never a dull moment in the MLB show.
It's crazy that and you mentioned like the veteran players of yesteryears, and there was a point, obviously when I was much younger, that I used to think to myself, yeah, this is cool. You can play as Babe Ruth, for instance, or Reggie Jackson. These players that you might have been too young to actually see them play, but you can play them, and you knew that they were like legends in their times and whatnot. But I was just talking to my brother this weekend. We actually hung out this weekend, and we were at a restaurant, kind of like a diner restaurant type thing. Anyway, we're gonna go eat steak, so we had a good time. But
Nice.
I noticed like they were playing the baseball game. I forgot who was playing or whatnot, but I was looking at the players on the teams, and I think it was the A's versus, man, I don't remember what the other team was. But I told my brother, I said, man, can you believe that I have lapsed from baseball so long that everybody on every team is brand new to me? Like, I don't know who is a star, who is not, who's the best team, who's the suckiest team, who the best, like nothing at
Yeah.
all.
I'm like
And
that with basketball.
you know what? And I'm getting there with basketball as well. I mean, if it wasn't because you always hear mention of like Stephen Curry and LeBron James, these guys who are like high profile. Everybody else is like they've either got traded off, retired, or are playing on a totally different team, and you're like, what is Chris Paul doing on the Suns? You're like, wasn't he
Yeah.
like over here the other day? And yeah, it's crazy. So it's I see now why it's such a neat, I guess, option function that they do put the older players and the older teams in these games that we play, these sim games like MLB. Because if you're like me, I would feel more comfortable, with the '86 Mets, and or the Toronto Blue Jays in the '90s, you
Right.
know. But I would feel completely out of place as to, okay, what team do I want to make a run and do a season with, because I don't know anybody from a hole in the wall.
Right. Right. Right.
So that's
Yeah,
I
you have
just
the
want to
capable.
throw that out there.
Yeah. There's not too many games out there that have like a really good deep roster of like legends as baseball does. I mean, and maybe the closest thing that would come is 2K, NBA 2K.
Hmm.
Which they include legends and the pastime players. And integrate them into the gameplay. I don't know if Madden does that well or does it at all. I'm not sure about NHL hockey or even FIFA for that much. You know, do they bring
Yeah,
back these players?
yeah, they from what I little that I know, they do, but they're usually just like those players that you kind of like
Marquee.
earn after you
Mm,
make, like, I guess you complete an achievement or whatever.
mm,
It's not like something that you can just, someone you can just use off the top. But
mm,
I might be mistaken on that, because again, it's been a while since I've played any of those that you mentioned, the hockey, the soccer, the Madden. It just really doesn't call my attention, to be honest. But we got Jay in the chat over on youtube.com/drama free gaming. He's saying, yo, sports in
What
the
up?
80s and 90s was the best, retro all day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean
Sure.
that was our era, right? So for us, it was living in the moment. And
Right.
that's the thing about sports games, right? Like, if you don't stick with them and you let some time lapse by, next thing you know, you're in the same situation that I'm in right now, which I don't know who's who and what's what. I mean, I see some of these stadiums and some of these players, and it's like, what? Like, it's cool. I mean, I can tell how the sport, in not only as the actual sport has evolved, but how these athletes have evolved. Like, they have their own personas and their own characters, and just, it's cool. It's really cool to see the difference, and just compare to when I was kind of quote unquote in the loop on sports games and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been playing A Plague's Tale Innocence. I think you finished the game, didn't you, Henyo?
Yeah, I did actually. Quite a bit ago, but it was memorable. It was a straightforward experience. Pretty cool. I love the graphics.
Yeah, I actually had played the game and I think I was ahead of you during that time. I put the game down like I have a bad habit of doing. And then when the E3 announcement came that they were going to do a sequel, I said, "Wow, wait a minute. I really enjoyed this game. Let me go back." So I went back and picked it up and I thought that I was more than halfway done and I was wrong. This is a long ass game.
It
Like
was.
it was a I was getting some fatigue there and the thing is that I took last Friday off and actually said, "You know what? I'm going to sit and I'm going to play this game. That's all I'm going to
Wow.
do." And sat and played this game from like I don't know. I think it was 1 in the afternoon, maybe 1 in the afternoon, 8 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock at night. I was still playing this game,
Wow. That is commitment. You needed to get this done, huh?
man. But it was. I mean, it's a good game. Like, there's nothing like what you call it, nothing difficult about the game, but the story just really caught me, and I was like, I'm determined to finish this game. Like, I need to see the end of this game and how it's gonna pan out. And I can tell you, if you have not played this game, you need to play it. You definitely do. I'm surprised that this game didn't get more press. I think the producers of the game, developers are Osobo. Is that the developers that make this
Yep,
game?
yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep,
And I
yep.
was like, I mean, I was reminded of that when I loaded the game. I said, "Oh wow, wait a minute. They got something here. Like this is a really good straight like you said, it was straightforward. The story was really good. And it didn't feel even though I was getting fatigued, to be honest. I mean, 8 straight hours on the game.
That's a
Uh
long time.
yeah, I completed it on Sunday. Like I put it down Friday, Saturday I went out, and then Sunday I came back and I was like on the last 2 chapters. And I knew I was near the end because I had to go fight that, well, I'm not gonna ruin it for anybody, but I kind of knew I was near the end because the kid went through a process and all this other stuff. And you guys will, if you guys haven't played it, just play this game. It's worth your time
Uh,
to get
uh,
to get wrapped up into it.
it was pretty unique in which, how you kind of manage your way through the board. So, it's very linear, but you got to kind of manage, how you get things, how you get from point A to point B. It's not so, it is linear, but it's not straightforward linear. You got to kind of think your way through.
Right, you're gonna die various times.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
and it's yeah. I mean, if you're squirmish, I hate rats. To be honest, like anything that looks or resembles a rat, I hate. So I mean, the rats in this game look real convincing. I mean, they're just like nipping at your toes
Yeah.
constantly. And you have that sense of urgency when you're
Mm-hmm.
navigating places and whatnot. But really really good game. I mean, I would give it a solid if it was a whole number, I think a 7.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that it was trash in any way, shape, or form. I think a 7 is a great score. A solid 7 experience, story wise. Play the game. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know it's been out for a while, but play the game before the second one drops because you're definitely gonna want to know what happened in the first. So
Yep, for sure. And that one looks just as good, graphically, and I could imagine the storyline as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they do got something here, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that second game coming out here real soon. But talking about games coming out real soon, we are on the precipice of these games that were announced a couple of weeks ago at the E3 presentation, the Microsoft slash Bethesda presentation, when they took the stage and announced 27 out of their 30 games coming to Xbox Game Pass day one.
Good Lord.
And one of the games that I'm actually waiting for, I think it's the 29th that it comes, the July 29th, the end of this month. The Ascent. Have you heard anything about this? Seen anything?
The Ascent, no,
The
does not
Ascent. It's
ring.
like a Diablo type slash cyberpunk setting.
Oh,
It's a four-player co-op. Top down. And I was looking at it even closer today and going back over the videos that were put out there by the developers, and it's not going to have any specific locked classes, so you can actually build your character the way you want. It's going to have a lot of customizable character building, and especially with attributes. It's gonna have like four different attributes that you can spec into. But yeah, the game, for whatever reason, is just caught my eye. I haven't played Cyberpunk 2077, but this setting, this cyberpunk sci-fi top-down Diablo type looking type playing game is really something I could see just hanging out with the fellas on a Friday night and just,
see what you meant.
going at it.
It you know what it looks like? It almost reminds me of the first Fallout, but with like enhanced graphics.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. You're right. Yep.
Oh, it looks pretty. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you're taking a look at it. And Jay says, wow, Pop, where you been? Where do you see Pop?
Hey
That's
Jay, get
that's
well, man.
that's probably an old chat, Jay, over if you're over on the DFG live chat, which I see that you're at. That was from our previous show that he was there. Yeah, the chat just continuously runs. So you're the only one in there at the time, right now, live, present. So don't get mixed up. But yeah, the game looks really good. Jay, have you heard
Yes.
anything or seen anything on the Ascent? Are you interested? You can put something in the chat if you are, or if you're looking forward to something coming out here again in the next couple of weeks. It's gonna seem like every few couple of weeks there's gonna be indie games dropping into Game
Yes.
Pass. Um, uh, talk to me about that. Does Microsoft and Xbox have too many games now?
No.
No, it doesn't have too many games. I mean, I mean, it seems like, I mean, it's a game after a game after a game. I don't have the time to play all these games.
No, and if you notice what I'm doing, I play games, I put them down, I play a game, I put it down, I play a game, I put it down, and I'm just constantly revolving through the library of just getting a taste of what's out there, the different
Hmm.
types of gameplay. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was playing Dark Alliance, and prior to that, I was playing some other game that Railroad Empire and stuff like that. So I'm constantly rotating the gameplay. So I'm never playing just yeah. I have my staple games, but I like to rotate around. And when Xbox comes around and says, "Hey, by the way, you're gonna have this on day one," I'm very happy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
to hear that news, so it gets me excited to try out something different, completely different. And indie games is just that, something that I look forward to this year.
Yeah, I was I was laughing about that today because I was thinking about it as I was looking at these videos and preparing for today's podcast, and I said, I mean, literally, there's games that are going to be coming out weeks from each other, and not just these rinky dink indie games, like games that I'm really interested in. There is this other game. It slips my mind right now. I think it's called 12 Minutes. William Defoe is one of the voice actors in the game. It's coming out towards the end of August, I believe. And that's another game that I want to play. Maybe we can get the right title for the game. I think it's called 12 Minutes or something like that. It's like a time loop game. Like there's a crime that's committed. You're with your spouse, and then he gets murdered or whatever, and then you have like this 12 minutes or whatever to figure out what went wrong and whatever. And if you don't during that 12 minutes, it kind of like resets and it loops again. That's the whole
Ooh,
concept of that game. Yeah, and William Defoe is voice acting. He's one of the voice actors in the game. Yeah, if you haven't heard of this game or have checked it out or whatnot, go ahead and do yourself a favor and check it out. I know that they had originally announced Back for Blood late summer, I
yes.
guess, but that's not coming out, I think, until October now.
Mhm.
I think they pushed it out a little bit more, but again, another 4-player co-op, first person shooter. And if you play Left 4 Dead, you're familiar with Left 4 Dead, right, Henyo?
Absolutely, and I look forward to that one.
Oh man, and again on Game Pass, day one, and so I was just laughing by myself. I might have looked like a lunatic, but I was laughing. I said, Game Pass, Xbox has too many games now. Like, you know, I don't have time to play these games, but I think my approach is like
No,
yours now.
no, you don't. It's not that you don't have enough time. It's you don't go through the games. Like you don't try out different games quick. So I don't need to finish a game. You can just play the game for a little while and get the gist of it, and just enjoy the game and move on to something else. I've done that in the past, and I'll do it again,
So do
and
you
that's what it.
So do you think that that's the way that Game Pass is going to continue existing, and that's really the approach of this generation? Let's talk. I mean, let's compare to when we were younger and we couldn't afford games like that. And we've talked about it here before. You had one game that you got, maybe two in the year, um, and you played that game, and you played it, and you played it, and you played it, and you finished it, you beat it, you went back, you beat it again. I mean, you became really acquainted. How has this changed with a service like Game Pass, or I mean, not even just with Game Pass, with like something like Steam, where you have this like endless amount of games. The way you
With
approach games, have you noticed that about yourself? Like, when did you notice yourself not really like committing to a game and actually just cycling through games, like you just said?
It's always been like that, there's been plenty of games in the past that I've started and really never got to finish because there was always another game lined up, right? And I'll
Mm.
name Toe Jam and Earl. I was into Toe Jam and Earl with
Jam and Earl.
Bito, and we could, we would play it together, but and we would take turns, just to share the mic, but we never really finished the game,
Mm.
and it was just like because something else came up, we either would huddle up to play, Romance number five, I think it was, or four, and the Three Kingdoms, or some some other sports title or something. There was always something next. To finish a game was just nothing that like we were really set out to do. Just experience it. Road Rash was the same way. I never got to the ending of Road Rash,
Mm.
and there are some games you want to finish. Example, Call of Duty. I just started Call of Duty, which is what I left out.
Mm.
I booted up Cold War, so I'm playing the single player.
Okay.
A game like that, I know it has a achievable ending. So there are some games you finish. There are some games that you just play, you enjoyed, and you don't necessarily need to finish it. The one thing with Xbox Pass to me is that I thought they were gonna cycle games out
Mm.
quicker
Mm.
at a
Okay.
quicker pace. And this is was going to be the hook to Xbox Pass, in which you're only going to have it for like 6 months. After that, you're going to have to purchase it.
Mm.
That's what I thought the hook was going to be, to flush out games quicker. They're taking their time with it, which is fine by me because it lets me look at their library and say, okay, I still got time to play that.
Mm.
And that's the whole thing with Xbox with me. I could go in and take a look around. What's in the kitchen? All right, great. I'll have that for breakfast tomorrow. And that's what Xbox Pass gives me the capability to do. And with Steam, you kind of, you get to see a lot of other games that you normally don't on the console, and you add it to your wish list and wait for a holiday or a sale.
Right, right. I mean, I've even noticed that, and let me just read the chat here real quick, where Jay says, "I'm waiting for Persona 6 announcement." Jay's a big Persona uh fan, and he also mentioned that Atlas is having an event in September. So, hard to believe that's right around the corner. We're pushing up on August already. Kiddos go back to school, and before you know it, we're gonna be here in the heat of things with games like that make their appearances like they do every year, like Call of Duty and the Maddens, and the games that usually come out around this time, that people flock in droves to purchase.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
actually looking. I want to get into an indie game. You
mm,
know, I don't think indie gets enough love. They're out there. I see a lot of good games out there. Two in particular that I'm waiting to come out. One is called Replaced, which is sort of a side scroller, but with
yes.
a pixelated twist.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one. I think it's called Cleaners, and that one
Okay.
is sort of a storyline. You kind of walking around and it's single player, but it's an experience in which you almost reminds me of Commandos. Have you ever
Mm.
played? You remember
Yes, yes, I
Commandos?
remember Commandos. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So games like that are just they're fresh. They're something different. They're not run of the mill type of game. There's another one coming out, Replicator, which
Mm-hmm.
is an overhead, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So more fun, arcadish type of gameplay that I look forward to from the lineups that are coming out, especially on the indie side.
Yeah,
I
I
think it's time to
played.
get.
I recently played it, but I was playing this on the Switch. Raji, Raji, and the art is what first got me. It's an indie game,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
I would describe it like a God of War light. And it was just a demo that they put out there, but I really liked the mechanics. It reminded me of like the old school God of War, not the new one, the old school God of War, but with a female protagonist, and the art style beautiful. I mean, there was just something about the aesthetics, and that's one thing that I enjoy about indies, that usually get my attention. First and foremost, it's the art style.
Right.
If it has an interesting art style, it catches my attention immediately, and then I go and see and say, okay, what's this about? What's the game about? And yeah, you're right. I'm looking forward to another indie game called Tunic. I don't know if you heard of that. It's kind of like a Zelda like, old school Zelda like gameplay. And that's a game that has been announced for a little whiles, but I'm looking forward to it as well. And it's also an indie game, so
Yeah.
lots of good
Much love to
stuff.
them.
Yeah, lots of good stuff coming around the corner. We mentioned Steam and Game Pass and Xbox putting their games out on Steam. If you go look on Steam, you'll see that Sea of Thieves has been like the number one bestseller on Steam for
Well,
a little whiles already.
yeah.
You also gonna see Forza Horizon 4 there as well. So Xbox putting their games out there, but talking about Steam, Steam Deck was announced,
Whoa.
and talk to us about this because I looked at it and I got my impressions, but I want to hear what you have to say first. And when you
I,
first saw Steam Deck announced.
if somebody wants to give it to me for Christmas, I'll accept it.
Same here. Same here.
Would I run out and get it? Is a little bit above my price point. I think
Mm,
is an awesome device. I think this is a perfect item for like a night watchman.
mm.
Who can't
Yeah.
really roam around with his laptop, but
Mm-hmm.
yet he's down on the scene with the games, and he's single and he's got money to. This device is just like everything that a single person would want. That's has a night shift.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is a handheld device,
Right.
a la Switch, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think the cheapest one, or I shouldn't say the cheapest, but the low end model begins at what price again?
Or 399 for 64 gigs,
Okay.
which is nothing. Nothing.
Which is nothing because they're talking about, I think Digital Foundries did a review on the product, and they're claiming you can play AAA games on this thing.
Uh, yeah. Why not?
I
It
mean,
definitely it's got some
it's not gonna be
underlying hardware in
4K,
there.
but
No, and at that, I mean, at that small, screen, that's gonna kind of it's not like you're playing it on an 85-inch screen in which you
Right.
need to sit further so everything looks better.
Right.
You're sizing it up to be a smaller environment. So, that's 720, I think it's gonna be 720 resolution. It's gonna
Yes.
be, nice and tight and you won't see too much pixelation. So, I think this is a great buy for somebody who just could spend money. I would
Yeah.
definitely fall into the what is it, the 650
Hmm.
category, which is the 512 gig space um hard
Well,
drive because you want to cram it with everything.
yeah, I was gonna say more important than that, because I think you could actually use external memory for it.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to have I mean, which can probably start then defeating the purpose of why you have a portable device, right? You don't want to be carrying an extra hard drive around with you.
Yeah.
Um, but it's
The-
pricey. What do you think about this in comparison to the recently announced Switch OLED model, which is not a new Switch, it's just the same hardware, same tech, nothing's been upgraded except an OLED screen, I think 7-inch wider screen, and a LAN port.
yeah.
I guess, to say the least, off the top of my head, that's kind of like the improvement for 350. Um, you know.
I think these are two separate worlds. I think this is, Windows to Mac, Nintendo to Steam, two different type of, gaming genre types. I
Mm-hmm.
think it'd be hard pressed. I don't imagine someone who constantly plays Super Mario or, Super Smash Brothers getting a unit like this to play Call of Duty or some other game that doesn't exist in the Nintendo world.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think there'll be a straight divide. So, I don't like to compare them, right? Because to me they're just two separate genres
Mm-hmm.
of
So you so
gaming.
you're opposed to compare them, like they're not really in the same stratosphere. Let's put it that way. They're
Well,
two gaming
gaming.
machines, but
Can we say gaming sphere?
in the gaming sphere. Let's call it that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, hardware is hardware. You're gonna get a portable device. I think the Switch is smaller and lighter and more
Mm-hmm.
portable to kind of sneak around with. This thing is gonna be kind of big and wide
Mm.
and you could tuck it away in your back pocket, but a good luck if it falls out of your back pocket
Right.
because
Right.
it's pretty big. And it's just, I don't know, it's just two different beasts in my eyes.
Yeah.
Gaming wise and physically too. What physically they're two different specimens, and I don't want to compare them. Nintendo does their thing with their Switch, and
Mm-hmm.
you know party on with them, but this is a whole different beast. I think the libraries are way different, and you can carry your Steam games from one system to the other. There's talk about how you'll be able to kind of continue your game from one device, save it there and then play it on your desktop
Mm-hmm.
without having to actually switch systems, which is great. I kind of do that with Xbox Pass, in which I'll play it on my laptop, a SnowRunner, for example, and then the save goes up to Xbox Cloud, and then I go on my PC and I log into Xbox there and continue the game from there without having to copy over any saved files or anything like that. So Steam to me and their device is just two different things than the Switch. I can't compare them. I
So
really don't want to.
so you think that this Steam Deck is targeted specifically for the PC crowd, and
Yeah,
to give them this option of portability,
absolutely.
um and you think they'll go for it? I mean, because when you get out of the 399 kind of like entry model, um I think it jumps up to like four something, maybe
529.
450, 529.
5 529 for the 256 gig. That's the middle one.
But I think
Um
that starting there, now you're getting an NVMe in there. Are you not? I mean, I'm not too
Uh,
familiar with the
uh,
specs.
it should start with the 512 is the one that's gonna have the
Okay.
NVMe.
So that'll be
And
the solid state, right? The
yeah,
solid state drive. And then so that you'll noticeably have a device that runs things quicker. right? Access
quicker,
things.
yeah,
Right.
smoother. Well, yeah, smoother, I would say.
Right.
And yeah, and that now, if you ask me to compare a laptop to a Steam Deck, I'll
Hmm.
accept that as a more of a, all right, yeah, well, let's
Well,
break
yeah.
it
I mean,
down.
I was gonna go there because if you're really like if okay, if you're like me, I'm going to use myself as an example. I don't ever get the base model of anything.
Hmm.
I can talk about, oh, okay, it'd be cool. If you need an entry level, yeah, go run out. I wouldn't discourage anyone from getting Xbox Series S. I have one, but that wasn't the first machine that I went and got. I went straight for the X. Like I always see myself aiming for the higher end, and I feel like, hey, if I'm going to invest monies, if I'm going to spend money, whichever word you want to use, I'm going to get the higher end one.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, so here, what was I saying? Yeah, so with if you, let's just say, money was not an object, an obstacle here, and you was gonna pick one of these up, a higher end model, and there was a comparable, compatible laptop, which way would you go?
So that puts me where I'm at right now. So,
Okay, I'm
you
glad I
know,
asked then. So what's the dilemma there? Because it's a
I,
chunk of money.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is, but my laptop was right under $1,000. It's not a gaming laptop, but it's a professional laptop.
Mm-hmm.
But it's beefy enough to kind of carry the load. It's not an RTX technology, video card driver. But then again, I don't have too many games that utilize RTX,
Mm.
so that was kind of this just put me in the he's a professional that games
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
field,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
it's classy yet trashy. To if I had 600 and probably with tax $750
To
to
blow.
throw, I would try out the Steam Deck if somebody was to give me a gift certificate or any donations,
Yeah.
or fund the DFG.
Right? Hey, you could. Hey, while you're saying that, you could just join us over at Drama Free Gaming on our Discord. There, if you're watching the YouTube video, even as it streams or on the replay, check us out. Hit the link. We're there, and come
Good
on
job,
over, and
though.
we'll have further discussion as to send up some donations, and maybe we might need to pull some money together and test it out, and then give our review here. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, absolutely.
who knows? Who knows?
So, I mean, definitely. I mean, I would definitely try this device if I had the funds for it. But
Mm,
knowing that I have a laptop that's quite capable of doing what that Steam Deck does, kind of detracts from the want, right?
right.
Because after all, I'm gonna still play the same games that I'm playing now on my laptop. There's nothing. Will it be able to run Flight Simulator on that Steam Deck? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm,
Because Flight Simulator is a PC game by nature,
mm.
and it's coming to Xbox Pass now. Oh boy, you guys need to get excited about that.
Man, we're gonna talk about that here in a moment, but I'm glad you mentioned it, so I'm gonna hold on to that thought. So,
Yeah, so I mean, if you have a gaming rig, there's no sense getting that
mhm.
that Steam Deck. If you have money to throw around and you're funded, absolutely, it's worth a try. Again, it's gonna be portable. I don't, and in a day and age where you're home like 90% of the time, I just don't see much use for it.
Yeah,
I don't see myself, walking around with it in the park or whatever the case may be. That a normal Switch user would be doing. I don't know.
yeah, I agree with you 100%. If I had some blow money like that, or somebody wanted to make a generous donation, whatnot, yeah. And Jay Jay called, I think he called both of us cheap jerks, and then he went on to say, and the scammers have already tried to corner the market again, but Steam and Valve have already shut it down. I saw that they were already trying to to do their thing, and that's part of the business. But he says you guys need to check Best Buys. They may have gotten some restock on RTX cards.
TX
Last time
cards.
I checked, I haven't seen them, to be
Uh,
honest. And that
uh,
was just recent. I've kind of given up on that. I'm
re-
just I'm kind of waiting, to be honest. I'm kind of waiting to just I'm at the point already where if I do get an RTX, if one even shows up, I'm just gonna build a whole new computer. I'm not even gonna swap out the one that I have now. I'm just gonna leave the one I have the way it is. Probably keep
Mm,
using it for content creation and for streaming and everything else. And the other one, I'm just gonna build around that, RTX, hopefully a 380 at least, if not a
mm.
370, and just have it for gaming.
Yes.
But I don't see that happening until next year.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
There,
maybe,
there
yeah,
is nothing in Best Buy. I'm looking right now. There is
yeah.
nothing.
No,
The
I mean,
land is barren.
yeah, I mean, it's there's people still trying to get an Xbox, okay, and a PlayStation, and who would have thought? I mean, console launches most of the time, if you pre-ordered at that E3 announcement, you can pick yours up for the holidays. And then if you wasn't one of those few that pre-ordered it or weren't fortunate enough to get it during the holidays or gifted, you would probably wait about 2 months, right? Maybe 2 months, if that, 3 months. But then you would be able to walk into GameStop or whatever and pick yourself one up. You still can't do that. And the chip shortages, and it's still the reality of the world that we live in. So and here we are, almost at, well, not almost, but we're halfway, more than halfway through the year, and before you know it, there's going to be all these games on Game Pass. Not to mention these AAAs, Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, day one on Game Pass, and people are gonna want to play this game, but are they going to have the console unless they already own, and that's where I want to go with this, they already own the last gen consoles, maybe Xbox One X or even the OG Xbox, where I still can't believe, Henyo, that Microsoft has said that through X Cloud computing, somehow they're going to work their sorcery and we're going to be playing Flight Simulator.
Oh yes.
I
And
mean,
they just announced that they streamlined on the next, or it should be on the next update. They streamlined the software more so it could run like close to stutter free on the PC, which is
wow.
huge. So I didn't have that much issues with stuttering or lag or frame drops, but man, this is going to improve the game quality overall because now you're going to really be able to. They're really putting the load on the graphics card and taking it away from the processor. Some of their software was kind of putting the load on the PC and
Mhm.
weren't allowing you to kind of carry the load of the game. So now they've distributed the resources properly on the next update, and it looks awesome. It runs awesome, and when people play this on the Xbox, I'm gonna definitely try it out. I'm gonna want to get a flight stick now that I'm talking about it. And we've traded pictures of flight sticks. It's gonna be damn fun, man. You guys got to try
Oh
the
my gosh.
training, the
What
landing challenges, and flying together. That's
you
for
know
real.
what, I'm excited and I'm also scared about the Flight Simulator is this, that I'm going to play it. It's I have no doubt it's going to be gorgeous in its presentation. I mean, just recently, I think it was Aaron Greenberg confirmed that Xbox went ahead and they updated all their server centers with Xbox Series X
Mm.
boards in there for xCloud gaming. So
Mm.
that's bonkers, Um, and my fear and my excitement is I'm gonna play this game and I'm gonna be playing with a controller and I'm gonna be like, no,
Mm-hmm.
I need the setup. I
I,
need the setup.
you know what I do when the only time I use a controller for this game when I just need to do like a quick test, right? Like I
Mm.
say, okay, the game got updated. Let me make sure this is working still. That type of setup. And that's after that I'll put the controller. I'll unplug the controller because I do have a setup. I
Yeah,
have the flight panel sticks,
yeah.
the yoke, the rudders, the throttles, and all that stuff. It's so
Mm.
immersive. It's so good. I wish I had a 4K TV
Mm. Mm.
because
Well,
I'm playing it on 2K and it looks good.
I mean, the game. I've been watching videos, and they've been talking about even airplanes that they want to add. They haven't announced some of the planes that they want to add to the game, but I think one of
Mhm.
them is like an F-15.
Yeah, that's gonna come. Yeah, that they're gonna push that out together as part of a promotional thing with Top Gun.
Wow. That's just gonna be freaking awesome. Are we gonna
Yeah,
get like aircraft carriers, bro? Are we gonna be able to land on
the
these aircraft carriers?
the community on the I can't speak on the console side, but on the PC, that's already there. There's guys that
What?
provide that. Yeah,
That's
and
bonkers, bro.
yeah, yeah. The PC community is like that. I mean, they were on it since day one. So they already got helicopters. Microsoft hasn't even pushed out helicopters, and the community has created
That is
helicopters for
just
the game.
that just sends chills like up and down my spine because I
Yeah,
would love to be in one of these, jet fighter planes, just
yeah,
taking off and landing on an aircraft carrier. That would just
yeah.
blow with the setup, of course. Not with a controller, with the setup, like coming in
When you
hot.
Yeah, when you push forward on that throttle, you definitely feel, like, all right, this is gonna happen right here, right now.
Wow.
Yeah, just the other day, I was looking through Twitch or something, and I came across they were actually doing a what you call it, what those orchestrated flights, the Blue
Hmm.
Angels type of
Oh, okay,
flying.
okay, yeah, like
So it was
synchronized, yeah.
synchronized flying. There was like a group of maybe like I want to say 8 guys
Mm,
doing synchronized flying, just like the Blue Angels, I think
that's
they called.
sick.
And it was sick. It was like, what?
That's
And this is
sick.
like just a video game. I mean, I can't, it's not a real plane, but still, man, the legitimacy of 8 guys getting together to kind of synchronize this thing and make it happen. It was a stream. I'll put it up on the DFG channel, but it was just like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, throw it on there on that 24/7 365 gaming,
Yeah,
and
for
let us check
sure.
it out, man. If you got that. Jay says, what specs do you need to run it? I'm assuming he's talking about the micro flight simulator, excuse me.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, he said,
Is
Henyo, you should set up another flight in Discord. Yeah, that was
uh,
I had that fun run with him one time. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that when when he was playing, and uh
oh yeah, yeah.
it's just zen like, just playing the game. You can just space out. Anyways, I got nothing but good things to say about the game.
Uh,
I really
yeah,
can't wait to try it out.
yeah. On the PC side, you're always gonna, you want a beefy machine. You want, the latest disk technology. You want the RTX, video card, and any processor nowadays should be able to run the game. So, as long as it's, your i9 and above, you'll be fine.
And Jay, you
And
could run it on your laptop. You can
yeah,
run it. I mean, I
yeah,
wouldn't push. You see, that's like I'm, even though I have a 4K TV and I enjoy 4K gaming and whatnot, but I'm one of those guys that I would tone down the resolution just to get the performance. If I can
correct.
get more frames, a steadier frames, just the gameplay just solid with no hitches, no nothing. I'll bring that bad boy down to 2K
Yeah,
1440.
yeah,
That's where I usually play right now. Just to get frames
yeah. You
whenever I have
definitely
to.
want to. Yeah, you definitely want that fluidity. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want that, taken away from the immersion of it.
Yeah. Yeah. This capture that I did, that you guys, if you're watching the video right now, we just thank you again for just tuning into Drama Free Gaming here on
Yeah,
youtube.com. Again, if you're listening to us on audio, you can catch us at anchor.fm/DFG podcast, and wherever you listen to your podcast, let that be Apple Podcasts, Chromecast, Pocket Cast, and other like apps. Thank you. Hit the subscribe, hit a like. Let us know if you are entertained, at least just by the conversation. There's a lot of conversation, a lot of Xbox talk. It seems like Xbox is in the news like constantly. There's always something either directly or indirectly that we link to them. We're talking about Flight Simulator here. Excited to see that actually running not only on the Series X and S, but also through the cloud on last gen consoles. And I mean, it's amazing. I'm just like, I'm blown away how Microsoft has actually just has delivered on the promise of, hey, we're not going to leave you behind. We're at least going to give you an opportunity to play these games. Obviously, they're not going to be at the top notch level of playing on a PC, with an RTX 3080 or even on an Xbox Series X, but you can at least get access to the experience. And during a time like this, that we're still living in COVID time, okay? We're probably coming out on the other end, but there's still a lot of people that are hurting. A lot of people that don't have, the monies, and even if they could get the system, they don't have the monies to upgrade their PCs, or they can't even find the hardware, to be honest, even if they wanted to upgrade, but can still play on last gen consoles. That's freaking amazing, man. That's
Mm,
impressive.
yeah.
And I think that Microsoft really positioned themselves uh they put themselves in a great position to where they're keeping people engaged, keeping people entertained. And Game Pass, I can't say enough that you're gonna have access to these games day one on Game Pass for what, for nine ninety
Amazing.
nine a month.
At least, yeah.
That's
Amazing.
beautiful. That's a
It's all
beautiful
good.
thing. Yeah.
It's all good. I'll accept it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it every day and twice on Sunday. So,
Uh,
but
hey,
talking
did
about
you see the Death Stranding? I'm sorry.
go
I
ahead. No,
wanted.
no, go
I
ahead.
posted. I posted the Death Stranding remastered. I don't know if you got to see it.
On
Did
you
you
put
get
it where?
on the game channel?
Oh, I gotta check that out. I didn't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
that. No. I didn't see it.
Let me
The director's
see.
cut.
The director's cut. Yeah, that's
Okay.
a little bit above. Yeah, you
Okay.
should definitely check that out. I just wanted because we talked about that last time, and I wanted to make sure that comes across. We
Cool.
love Xbox, but we also love Sony.
Oh yeah, I mean we love our gaming, and the thing that I'm scratching my head here, because I know you own a PlayStation 5 and you're playing MLB on it. Um, you know, I know that eventually I'm going to pick up a PlayStation 5 when the games that compel me to get a PlayStation 5, aka God of War, would be, one of
Mm.
those games. Um, but I scratch my head here, Henyo, because I'm thinking, will PlayStation ever step up and duplicate or compete against Game Pass? Do you
Is
think
there an
that'll ever
urgency
happen?
for them to do it? Is there an urgency for them
I
to
mean,
do
right
it?
right
People
now,
are gonna own the people are gonna own a PlayStation. I don't know. Like people
yeah,
will flock to a PlayStation at some point.
yeah.
I don't, and what's there for them for the taking. They might have exclusives, and for people who don't, whatever's not exclusive, they're gonna default to whatever, console they like. I don't know. Like I just don't.
I
I
mean,
don't.
the reason why I bring this up, Henyo, and I don't want to like take too much time on this, but this is my thought, like, and this is what I hear because I try to keep my ear to the ground on gaming, period. And what I hear that PlayStation is doing that I think is kind of underhanded, kind of messed up, to be honest, is that you're coming out with games that, okay, now they are quote unquote director's cuts, or they have a version for the PlayStation 5, and they're charging their fans an extra $10 for the upgraded graphics or features,
Mm-hmm.
or even
Right.
to transfer their game over from the PlayStation 4 save to a PlayStation 5. And over on the Xbox side, their approach has been, well, you know what? We're going to give it to you through smart delivery. You own
Mm.
the game on a last gen console. We're going to give you the upgraded graphics. We're going to give you the upgraded frame rates. Here it is. Here's the content. And yeah, we get that through Game Pass, or if we own the game. But I'm specifically talking about if you own the game. But if you have Game Pass, you get all that stuff in that subscription. And that's so forward facing, customer friendly, that I wish PlayStation had if PlayStation tomorrow announced, "Hey, we're going to for 9.99 a month, we're going to put all of our games, our backlogs and whatever. We're going to put all these games on this service." I'll be there like
Mm.
immediately, because there's still games from PlayStation 4 that I haven't played that I want to play. I want to revisit. Ghost of Tsushima is one of
Mhm.
those games,
I
you know?
I'm waiting patiently for that game as well. I haven't picked it up. I'm waiting for that nice price drop, and if there was an Xbox Pass version of it, I would, kind of use my 10 to 20%
Yeah.
off just to buy the game. I'm willing to pay for that game. Um, do I need to buy the game right now? No.
No,
And,
no. Yeah.
but again, that's the difference between Xbox. Xbox is saying, we'll give you a chance to play the game on Xbox Pass for the next, 6 months.
Mhm.
And there's no such thing on that on PlayStation. Well, maybe their game of the month type of thing, which you're not gonna get 8 titles there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jay
So
agree. Jay's agreeing with me when he says they would get my money if that happened. And yeah,
yeah.
I mean I think it's a no-brainer at this point. And I'm seeing them kind of moving in that direction ever so slowly because they do have some of their older games, right? Exclusive older games like Horizon Zero Dawn. It's on PC, right?
Mm.
That game is on PC, and I'm hearing rumors that the Uncharted, I think Uncharted 4 is gonna be on PC as well.
Well,
Days Gone, right, is on PC. It's available there. Um, and it's like I just think I just scratch my head. I go, you have over 150 million consoles, users, whatever out there. I mean, twice as many, if not more, than Xbox. Um, why wouldn't you put your game on PC? Why wouldn't you make these games accessible? I mean, it's just more money in your pocket, more money in the ecosystem, more money you can turn around and invest in games and studios and services. I mean, I think that's what Xbox is doing.
I'm pretty sure they are working on something. The I'm gonna try to contrast this into baseball terminology. You have different teams with different philosophies that could accomplish great things with limited budget and proper talent, right? You got Microsoft footing the bill, but putting out A-class titles, drawing you to their stadium, and you're gonna go see that stadium, but then you have teams that are limited with their budget, and even though they have the money to spend, right, they're still producing quality players. They're still, calling up good players, and you know what? They're competing at the major league level, right?
Mm.
And this is almost like how I'm seeing these two titans coming along to, you know, one's free spending Yankees, and the other one could be, the tight budgeted, Tampa Bay Rays, in
Mhm.
which they're both competing in the same division, and they're both going at it, to achieve the ultimate goal of winning the World Series. Will it ever? I know there's no World Series in gaming, but you always have that constant battle in which one team is constantly trying to outdo the other to gain that full stadium. And you know what? At the end of the day, the teams are gonna still compete. They're still gonna fill up their stadiums with their fans, and we're just gonna enjoy good gaming. Is that a perfect metaphor? Jesus, I nailed it.
Hey, I think, and no pun intended, you might have hit it out the park with that one.
There you
So,
go. There you go.
but yeah, but you're right. I mean, and I don't knock one or the other. What disturbs me, and obviously I don't have no qualms with it. I've always preferred the Xbox ecosystem, but I remember just 5 6 years ago when Xbox had no games, when Xbox was not providing these services, when Xbox was not, I mean, it was a barren wilderness.
Mm.
And PlayStation was like, on top. And I was like, hey, you know what? Props. I was like, I give it to them. They got the bangers, they got the studios, they're rocking and rolling. And then I'm noticing now, I guess what I'm saying is, I notice now, and I'm not being biased here, trust me, guys. I'm seeing that Xbox is like, yo, we are in this. We are committed. Game Pass, here's the games, first party titles, AAA games, Game Pass, day one. There you go. $9.99 a month. Or if you get Ultimates, you can have access to PC as well. $14.99 a month. And if you use Bing points like me, you've never paid $1 in your life since the service started. Okay. And it's there. And when you look at the value and the increasing value, I want PlayStation to just announce something other than, well, you know what? If you want the updated graphics, if you want the director's cut, well, if you own the original game, you got to pay us $10 more or $15 more, or
Mhm.
you won't have access to that, or it just doesn't. I just don't see it consumer friendly. And if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was Xbox doing something like that, that PlayStation fanboys would be all over it. They would be like, "Oh, you see, Xbox is being, you know, rotten, dirty scoundrels," and I just think that if the PlayStation community, and I would be right along with them, if the PlayStation community would say, "Hey, we're not putting up with this crap no more. What do you mean you're gonna charge us $10 to give us, graphics that we bought the hardware for? Like, we own this game. How are you gonna make me double dip? you know, how you gonna charge me for, like, I think a lot of this is just the fans have to like rise up. I think like Xbox fans did and say, hey, where are the games? We
Yeah.
don't want this crappy what was that? Connect. We don't want this crappy Connect. We don't want this thing, you know, recording us and watching us day and night. Like who asked for this? We want games. Where are the games? You
Right.
know? And I don't think until PlayStation fans, gamers don't rise up and say, "Hey, we're not putting up with this crap no more." I think they're just gonna keep getting shafted.
Uh,
And I
I,
want PlayStation to compete like on that level with, because let me tell you something. This is my opinion. Oh no, you don't have to agree with me. But I think that after this holiday, when Halo Infinite comes out, and this I want to move into the next topic here. But when Halo Infinite comes out, the multiplayer component is gonna be free to play. Okay. And it's gonna be free to play on PC. It's gonna be free to play on Steam. It's gonna be free to play everywhere. Xbox, you don't have to have a subscription. You don't have to have gold. You don't have to have nothing. It's gonna be accessible to you everywhere, anywhere. I think that game, Halo, is gonna dominate. It's gonna get back to its prime. Okay, but that's not the only game that's gonna drop. And by 2022, when Xbox starts hitting its stride, where these developers start releasing their games, and they're gonna be announcing maybe one or two games every quarter. Let's just say that. I mean, brand new game. Aside from indie games and partnerships and deals there's gonna be this constant influx and flow of games. And what's going to be PlayStation's answer to that? Because you have great hardware, you have a great ecosystem, you have great developers, but they're not going to be able to keep up the pace with Xbox.
mm,
And that worries me, because who's going to compete with Xbox?
no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want somebody to compete with Xbox on this ground, which leads me to Netflix getting into game streaming business. Did you hear this about
Yes. Yeah.
Netflix?
Yes, I've heard about it. I haven't read too much into it. There's not an interest in me in that.
No, neither, neither me. No, but I just found it curious that Netflix was talking to some EA personnel, try to get into business with them and try out streaming. Do you remember when Netflix used to be what it?
DVD.
Yeah, when you used to order the games and the movies and they send them to you.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. I mean, that led the way to GameFly.
Yeah.
And when I think of Netflix and gaming, I think of like, you ever stay in a hotel and you go to a channel to like play a video game?
Hmm.
You ever seen that? That's
Yeah.
what Netflix reminds me of.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if I'm all in on this Netflix. I mean, maybe, maybe it'll be like the cloud it'd almost be like the cloud experience, right? In which you're
Mhm.
you're streaming your game. And all you need is just a good controller that speaks to your TV, and you're gaming away. I think it's gonna be for like the once in a while casual gamer. I don't think it's gonna be for the hardcore gamer.
Mm.
They'll have it if they have the subscription money for it. Just for the hey, I got Netflix gaming. But I don't
So
see
you
like.
don't think there's gonna be some serious games there? You think it's gonna be more
Of
like
course,
a mobile gaming experience on
the,
Netflix for the
there's
kiddos?
they're gonna have their games that stream well. I just don't see people going, oh, I'm dropping what I have to go do it on the
Oh
Netflix.
no, definitely not.
So to me, it's kind of gimmicky for for Netflix to kind of get in the game, industry and try to make an offer. I mean, they'll have nothing to lose because all those games they'll just stream away at a subscription base. If you want it, it'll be there for you. And I don't think it'll be much overhead on their part. They're
Yeah.
just the licensing of the game. So I don't know. It's gimmicky to me, and I'm not a Netflix subscriber, so uh, yeah,
I'm not
I can't.
opposed. I'm not opposed to Netflix
No.
dipping their toe into it, and who knows? Like you just said, if you can grab a third party control, if I can grab my Xbox controller
Mm,
and with my current Netflix subscription access a game or two,
mm,
will I do it? Not really, because I have
mm,
my game systems and stuff and Game
right.
Pass. But like you said, for the casual, made for the kiddos or whatever, the people that don't have game systems. And then that's something that, again, I think Microsoft is already ahead of the curve because they're already talking with, these TV makers. And I know behind the scenes already have a device in mind that you can plug into your TV, or maybe even if you purchase that nice shiny 4K Samsung TV, that Game Pass app is gonna be there already
Nice,
pre-installed. Um,
nice.
so in what capacity, to what extent is Netflix getting quote unquote into the gaming or the game streaming business?
No.
I don't
If it, I
know.
mean, I mean, you obviously you could run Netflix through your laptop, and it's gonna be like a streaming cloud game.
Yeah.
That's there's not gonna be crazy graphics involved. There's not gonna be a load on your PC. It's just a cloud streaming type of gameplay. So
Yeah, I'd be I'd be cool with Netflix doing like going the route instead of like new games like Xbox, PlayStation games, going with retro games.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
be down for
that's some,
that.
yeah, that'd be something that is like, oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
would
if
be
you if
down.
you if you don't own the emulator on your PC or laptop.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's us, but I'm talking about like the general public.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can just give me these older school games, the Super Nintendo games and
Mhm.
Sega Genesis games, and why not? You know,
Yeah.
just give me access to those games and I can play those games, or put the kiddos to play when they get tired of watching whatever they're watching on Netflix, and say,
Right.
yeah, here's a controller. Go play Sonic the Hedgehog or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. It's definitely gimmicky, and I'm pretty sure it'll fit somewhere for
Yeah.
some people.
Yep, yep, yeah. I don't know if you guys are hearing this, and I'd be curious to know what your take is on that. If Netflix went into the streaming, I mean, because it's almost funny and ironic that Game Pass is referred to as the Netflix of game streaming now, and we still haven't really. I don't think we even connect the dots that it's not just Game Pass and the 200 plus games that they got there that you can download. You're not really streaming those games. You're downloading those games into your current hardware. But when we say streaming, what you really mean is the xCloud and how that's going to play a major part here moving forward with game. There's so much more that could be done with xCloud, but we're not going to talk
Yeah.
about that now.
You sure? You
Let's
sure?
well, yeah. I mean, maybe. Who knows? If you want to get into it, I don't know. But
Nah, but just,
how about and this I found interesting. Ubisoft announcing here not too long ago, from the time of this show that we're doing right now, that they are all in the free to play market now. We're talking about your beloved games that you once either purchased, purchased because there was no other way to play them. Now they're going free to play. Assassin's Creed. I think they're actually developing an Assassin's Creed game for that free to play model. Division as well. What's the other one?
Far
X
Cry.
Far Cry. Yeah,
Oh
X
yes.
Defiant. Um, you know, all these games now. Ubisoft. Um, I'm not surprised that they've taken this direction, because if you play their games like The Division, uh, um, For Honor, uh, Ghost Recon, if you play these games, you see the microtransaction, the season passes in there. So I'm not surprised that this is something that they have decided. Hey, we're gonna make our games free to play, but it's so that they can make their money on the content.
Hmm.
How you feeling about this and Ubisoft's decision to go down this route? Are they just
Uh,
going to be known as the free to play, developer, or do you think that they'll still make those other experiences that we've gotten used to?
the free to play games will be there with their what you call it, transaction with
Yeah.
microtransactions. They'll make money off that, and people will buy into that. I've never been one to kind of lend money into that whole microtransaction. I'll enjoy the game and play it as much free as I can. If my buddies are on and it's a multiplayer game that everyone could jump in, it has some value there. But then you have your hardcore streamers that are going to stream that game, and they're going to process that microtransaction. I kind of like it. I like the fact that they're providing these good quality games. I like Ubisoft. I've always liked Ubisoft.
Yeah,
I've
same
played all the
here.
Far Cry, the Division. The list goes on. They have a lot of great games. They have a pretty good library in my book. So if they're gonna offer a game for free, and they just want to charge you for any extra, well, as long as it doesn't hinder the gameplay of the game to give an upper hand to another player, have at it. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily need my avatar to look good.
Yes, and speaking of Avatar, that's another game that's in development by Ubisoft. They're
Mm.
developing Avatar, a game that we haven't spoken much of, but they really haven't mentioned anything in quite some time. But that game is still under development, and the way things are going now, it seems that that might be yet another free to play game. A service games, a live service game, and again making their money on the microtransactions.
Mhm.
I like what they're
Did,
doing with certain crossovers of some of their games. Go ahead,
mhm.
you was gonna say something.
Yeah, not. I don't think every title is going to be free. I mean, they'll have a library of free games, but
Hmm.
some of their bigger titles, I think you will pay for.
So does this rule out the possibility of Ubisoft and Microsoft making some sort of deal to where we will see Ubisoft games on Game Pass?
I think
What do
we've
you
asked
think?
this question before, but
I mean, it's a new development with Ubisoft making this announcement and saying, "Hey, this is Uplay. This is what we're gonna do now. These are the games that we're targeting to release as free to play, and this is what we're doing." The crossovers. I was just about to talk about what was the game, X Defiant.
yeah,
Where they're taking the factions from the division,
the
and
division.
they're kind of making what do you call it? Not a looter shooter, but you know
It's going to be a PvP
a
type of
PvP,
gameplay.
right? A PvP. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. So I mean, that looks interesting. I signed up for the beta. Hopefully, get called into it so I can play and try it out. Um, But yeah, I said here in the beginning of, well, I think towards the end of last year, predictions that Ubisoft would eventually find itself making a deal with Microsoft and it'll be on Game Pass. Kind of like EA Play. I don't know. I'm still
Yeah,
hoping for
we
that.
yeah, I mean, we would only come out winners,
Mm,
whether they provide the content for free on their end or they, Xbox Pass ingest them. At the end of the day, we get to play it for free, right? Um, I don't think, just because, I mean, does Microsoft lend but that's the money, just for, to help, these developers create games?
mm.
Do
I mean,
they? I don't think
Bethesda's been
Microsoft.
acquired, so
Yeah, well, yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah.
But so I guess the point is I'm saying is, without acquiring Ubisoft, is that even possibility? And if they do, are they going to give Ubisoft money to continue producing games?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's a question that we have no idea. What conversations happen
Right.
you know on a conference table or on a golf course. Uh, yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
and you know what, Henyo, and word around, around the gaming community, I've kept my ear out, has been that Microsoft is actually talking with anyone and everyone. They're not really like targeting specific markets. I mean, they would love to have more of a presence in certain regions where they haven't penetrated the market like they would like to. But from what I hear from credible, sources and that I follow and I believe them to be credible, they've proven themselves to be credible, is that Microsoft is not done with their acquisitions, either acquiring other developers, flat out purchasing them, or making deals. And so that's encouraging as well, to know that Microsoft is still out there, is still looking for talent. And another thing that I hear that's encouraging from Phil Spencer himself is, and I'm paraphrasing him obviously, but he has said, "Hey, we want these developers, whether we're in partnership with them or we acquire them, for them to make their game, make the game that they want to make." And not so much, us telling them or dictating to them, hey, you got to make, a third person sci-fi game or first person shooter, whatever. Like, no, go and make the game that you want to make. That's encouraging.
Yeah. And that's what I was kind of referencing to. Are they throwing money at these people to make the game and then put it out on the Game Pass platform? Um, who knows what's happening on the back end there?
Yeah.
Is that an offer that kind of one of the stipulations to cutting over to to Game Pass? Um, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
besides ingesting a company, what other short of, let me say this. So without having actually purchased the company, right? The,
Mhm.
the the development house, is there any other developer producing games for Microsoft that Microsoft doesn't own?
Yeah, there are I think Avalanche is one of those that they are in partnership right now. During E3, they announced that they're in partnership with Avalanche and they're coming out with a game. What's it called? It slips my mind right now. I would have to go look back. But yeah, they are in partnership with other developers that are developing games that are going to be exclusive to
Mhm.
Xbox.
Yeah.
And they haven't, like you said, flat out bought them out. They
Mhm.
just entered into these partnerships. I'm still trying to remember. It's not called The Heist. It's called it's gonna bother me now because
Contraband.
Contraband, yes. And I think that company, that's Avalanche that they partnered with to do that. Um, you
So
know,
if the possibility is there, then all bets are available to for Ubisoft to kind of push their games through Game Pass.
yeah, I mean, I think that when Microsoft reached out to EA, it was basically Microsoft looking at that portfolio and saying, we need sports games. Like, we don't have any sports games. And, EA is like right down the street from where they're located, and say, who better than to get EA, who has all the sport games and whatever, and they just made that deal and they fill their portfolio, and EA, like any other company, is in the business of making money, and I'm sure that if they weren't profitable, they wouldn't be there. They wouldn't have their games there.
No.
Um,
And EA Play still continues to be a
oh
subscription
yeah,
in other platforms. So
yes,
it just doesn't end with exclusively with Xbox Pass.
right, right.
In the PC realm, EA Play still exists.
Yes. Yes. And the thing is that I also hear, and it makes sense now, that Game Pass is in a position right now that it's not just that anyone and everyone gets into Game Pass, that there's actually, like a screening process, and Xbox is like, okay, what do you have to offer? And what is it that is being in development, and does it fit like what they're looking for to fill in their portfolio? And now developers are looking to get into Game Pass because they see the value of, hey, my game is going to get exposure, and they might not have the budget for marketing, let's say, and they know that by the game being on Game Pass, that Xbox is going to be fitting that bill for marketing. They're going to be announcing that game, pushing that game, so people go over to Game Pass, and hopefully the game does well, so that it's a win-win situation. So
I mean, with the announcement of the absorption of Bethesda, how many people went back and reloaded all these games just
yeah,
because they're on Xbox Pass?
yep,
Hell, I even thought of playing Skyrim again.
yeah, yeah. I went back and downloaded Wolfenstein.
Nice.
You know,
Oh,
and
that's a
I
cool.
and I had played the game before, and I went back and I was like, I don't know, it just felt so much sweeter that it was on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I was like,
I've always wanted to play that one.
Wolfenstein is fun, a lot of
Mm.
fun. That and a game that went ignored. I never beat it, but I played a lot of it. Was Prey. I don't know if you played
Oh
that.
yeah, I've heard of it.
Prey is a good game. I played Prey on Game Pass and on PC.
Mm.
Great game. Of course, Doom.
Yes.
I haven't played the new one, Doom Eternal, but Doom is also a great game, and just so many games to play. But I will say this before we sign off here. Um, Thinking about Game Pass, and I know we've mentioned Game Pass through the
Well,
entire podcast, but Game Pass for me, I'm thankful for Game Pass because, like you said, Henyo, a little bit earlier, it gives me the opportunity to touch a lot of games and not necessarily quote unquote miss out on anything because I ain't getting any younger is what I'm trying to
mhm,
say. And
yeah.
I mean, imagine if we had no access to the amount of games that we have today, and it didn't matter if a game took 2, 3, 4 years to come out. I mean, that's 2, 3 years of your life you're waiting for a game, but then you don't have the means, you don't have the funds, or there's just too many quote unquote games, and you have to make a decision between one or two here or one or two there. You would miss out. And with a service like Game Pass, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I feel like I have that opportunity, like you said earlier, to play games, experience games, AAA games, indie games, and just have a great time doing it.
Hmm. Yeah.
And if there are games like, again, A Plague's Tale, that I just get raptured by it, I sit down and play it, and I see the game through.
Yeah.
And that's
That
that's great. That's just a great
That
feeling.
it gives you the ability to step out of something that you've never would have tried. Would you have gone to the store to pick up a Plague Sale?
No,
I wouldn't.
no, flat out no. No, I
See,
wouldn't have.
and that's what that does. That's what that vast library allows you to go in and take a
Mhm.
look at what could I try today? What'll be fun?
Yeah. That's I mean, that's breaking it down. Would I have gone to buy this game? No, absolutely not. What's a game, and let's close it out with this. What is a game or a couple of games if you have more than one that you're looking forward to here in the next couple of weeks or maybe couple of months coming up that you're truly excited about?
Oh. Gosh. I I I don't really. I'm not looking that far down. I'm honestly. I have my hands full with what I have. I know there's plethora of games coming out for Christmas and stuff like that, but honestly, I'm just too comfortable with the games that I have in front of me, and I'm not itching, waiting for the future. Probably Far Cry would be the one game that I look forward to, getting into. Far Cry 6, I think it's gonna be
Mhm. Yeah,
that.
I'm not a Far Cry person, but the story for this one looks really compelling.
Mm, yeah,
Yep.
I've done all the Far Cries, so I'm
Yeah.
well versed in the
Cool.
Far Cry universe.
Cool. 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 Cool.
And you?
Yeah. Me, and I never played the first part of this game, but I really want to play Psychonauts too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never even played that game.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I had no clue what this game was, to be honest, and what the whole excitement about this game was. But I've started looking it up and seeing what it's about and the concept and the game. It's a platformer, but it just has this quirkiness about it
Mm,
that I'm just like really intrigued. Like I'm like, okay, I need to check this game out. Um and I think I'm gonna enjoy it. So I'm really looking forward to playing Psychonauts 2, um, and experiencing that. I know I can probably go back and play. I think Psychonaut 1 might be on Game Pass. If it is, I think I'm gonna check it out and see what it's about. But yeah, that, and I think I mentioned the indie game 12. I think it's called 12 Minutes. I think.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to play that game. So those are
I have
two.
these indie games. I have these indie games on the wish list in Steam, so I'm
Yeah.
waiting for these. I think there's 3 titles that I'm waiting for. So I wait patiently, and I'll continue to play. The games that I'm playing. Till then, I don't think I'll probably be day one Halo type guy, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, whatever pops into the library will be there for me, and I'll definitely jump in.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, I hope, Henyo, that you are around. I'm going to be talking to the fellas here on the Discord. And of course, those who are joining us here on youtube.com/drama free gaming. Uh, Hopefully, you guys will be around and you will be down to get together, get a 4-man squad, and jump on the Ascent. I believe July 29th. I'm not sure what day of the week that is, but we should definitely check that out, hang out, and then maybe we can come back here and give our impressions of this game, and see if any of us was remotely impressed by it. But overall, again, not looking to rate and score games, more in the mood and in the mode to play games.
Right.
And just like I tackled this game here, Plague Tale Innocence, that's how I feel about Psychonauts. Like I want to play that game, and I think I see myself like playing it. If I enjoy it, I want to see it through. So we'll see. We'll see. Got a lot of games in the backlogs. But Henyo, before we sign off, do you have anything else to say? Anything else to share?
I think it's Tuesday. I mean, we moved this from
It's
Thursday to Wednesday.
Tuesday.
We can't wait. We can't wait to talk gaming. So, thank you for joining us, Jay. I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Continue. Seriously, I hope you get back to us and feel better. And it's great time to game, man. Game on.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a great time to be alive, to be a gamer. Hey, no matter what platform you play on, whether that's Xbox, PlayStation, PC, tablet, whatever, mobile gaming, whatever it is that you play, just have fun. And like I always say, be good to one another, do good. And as always, keep your life and your gaming, people, drama free. We're going to be signing off here. Hopefully, we'll catch you next week for some more gaming, some more chatting, and some more fun. And Jay, take care. We love you. Have a good one.
Yeah. Later.